This week we are in Canada for one final time to learn about Nick's Law, a bill that is being proposed by MPP Lisa MacLeod. We talk with Steve and Natalie Cody to hear about their late son Nick, who died from a drug overdose in 2013. We have all the details why a bill being proposed at Queen's Park is being named in his honor. And we are also reporting from Algonquin College, where classes have been cancelled all week after the teachers went on strike. We have full details on what this means for the students and when classes may resume. Ottawa This Week starts right now. Hello, I'm Charlie Cenac and welcome to Ottawa This Week. Well, of course, the big news here in Ottawa this week has been the strike that has been impacting 24 colleges across Ontario, including here in Ottawa. Join me from Algonquin College with more. Well, we are here at Algonquin College where over 23,000 students are not in class today after the teachers walked out and went on strike. Now, the teachers did go on strike not just here at Algonquin College, yet all of the colleges in Ontario, and they did it because they feel they're not getting enough. As the clock struck 12 a.m. early Monday morning, 12,000 professors, instructors, counselors, and librarians at Ontario colleges began strike action. Here in Ottawa, classes were cancelled at Algonquin College and Le Site Collégial. College staff walked out of class after wanting a number of demands, including a 50-50 ratio with full and part-time staff. Currently, Algonquin College only has around 18% full-time staff and about 23,000 students. That's the most amount of students the college has ever seen.
Currently, the situation is that about 75% of the faculty teaching at the college are contract workers, contingent, precarious contract workers, which means that they can't dedicate themselves to the students as much as they would like to. They have to divide their attention doing other contract work in order to make ends meet.
Jordan Smith is a communications instructor for Algonquin College and has a total of 5 jobs. He says that if there were more full-time staff, it would also benefit the students.
If they were full-time, and a lot of them would prefer to be full-time, they could dedicate themselves more to their students and lead to a better student educational experience.
It is not an issue that is only impacting Smith and other instructors at Algonquin College, yet at all 24 colleges across Ontario. Tracy Henderson, who is a nursing instructor with the Facility of Nursing, agreed with Smith. She said currently the teachers and instructors are not able to spend enough time with the students.
It really will affect the students more than anything. So as it is now, students have more than 80% of the bodies teaching are part-time. So what that means for the student is their professor or instructor comes in, they teach their class, and then they leave. And oftentimes the students don't have access to them because they are at other employment.
And although classes are not happening today here at Algonquin College, many of the facilities for the students are, so they can still come and keep up with their studies. Although classes are cancelled, the building is still open, as well as many of its facilities. President of Algonquin College, Cheryl Jensen, is encouraging students to still go to campus and use the time to study. In the cafeteria part of the college that is usually packed, almost no one was seen, although the restaurants and shops were open. It is unclear how long this strike will last, yet staff at the college hope it won't be long. Henderson said she's hoping that they will all be back in the classroom soon.
I'm hoping not too long. The longer we're out, the more it will affect our students. So we're hoping that the college will return back to the bargaining table and we can come up with a resolve that meets everybody's needs.
And for Smith, he hopes classes will resume again soon because he has 2 children and a family to raise. He says with all the work he puts in, his salary works out to around minimum wage, and that impacts his family and 2 kids.
In order to make ends meet, I've got 2 kids, I've got a family to support, and in order to make ends meet, I have to take on several different contracts. So I have my teaching, which is 4 classes, and then I have 3 other contracts, and I work for another business as well. So altogether 5 jobs to make ends meet.
Now, of course, there is a reason why the teachers and professors here at Algonquin College and all the colleges across Ontario went on strike. And while they're handing out these papers to people who are walking by or driving by to detail what they want, here's a few of them. So one of the things I'd like to see is a pay increase of 6% over the next 3 years. Now, this pay increase will not just affect the full-time staff, yet also the part-time staff. Currently, Algonquin College has only around 18% full-time staff, yet 23,000 students. That's the most amount of students they've ever had, and with the least amount of full-time staff. Now, for the part-time staff, many of them don't get benefits. They're not getting anything like that. For some of them, they told me they're basically getting paid minimum wage whenever you work out all the hours they work, not just in the college, but also at home, doing marking, building websites, getting their lesson plans together, everything they need to get done. Also, they want more job security for contract employees. They say that requires colleges to ensure contracts earlier for enhanced job security. Partial load teachers retrain seniority 3 years after termination of last contract. Current and recently released partial load teachers have right of first refusal to new partial load jobs. And another thing also they want to see is more full-time staff. They'd like to see a 50-50 ratio. They say this will impact the students especially, because they'll have more teachers there to help them out in their studies, especially considering these students are spending a lot of money to go to college, and they want to be able to have, the best education experience as possible. Now, I do want to report that this is not the first time a strike has happened, and not the first time college staff have walked the picket lines. This has happened before. The last time was on March 7, 2006. That was 11 years ago. That strike did not last that long. Students were only out of class for 15 weekdays. Didn't impact them too much. Yet there were 2 strikes before that, both of them in the 1980s. In 1989, the strike lasted about a month. Students had to make up the time from that strike. Their winter break was shortened, and they had to stay an extra 3 weeks. Their college extended the school year by 3 weeks so they could continue their studies. Now again, this is just week 1 of the strike. We have no clue how long this will last and how long it will impact the students here at Algonquin College. For many of them, they don't know what will happen to them, and they're worried that they will have to be here for months over the summer to continue their studies. Well, that is it from me here at Algonquin College. We will, of course, be continuing to follow this story, but now join me back at the studio. And in other news, Canada drug advocacy group We the Parents held a public open opioid forum at the Canada Recreation Centre last week, and needless to say, parts of it got quite heated. The purpose of the meeting was to provide an update on the current opioid crisis Ottawa is facing and what has been done in recent months. At certain points during the meeting, it got quite heated, especially when controversial topics came up, such as the safe injection site downtown. Terry Lake, BC's former Minister of Health, did make an appearance, but many in the room did not like his approach. Senator Vern White was one of the first to speak. Here's what he had to say.
What's happening is fentanyl is being put in every single opioid that's being sold. It's being cut now with stimulants. We've had 2 cases in Canada where it's been sprayed onto marijuana. So our challenge is that what our young people are hearing from us is don't buy fentanyl, don't use fentanyl. They're not doing that. What they're doing is buying something else that's been cut with fentanyl.
Now we do have Senator Vern White as well as a few of the other keynote speakers' full speeches posted here on our channel. And in other opioid news, MPP for Nepean Carleton, Lisa MacLeod, is trying to get a new bill called Nick's Law passed at Queen's Park. Member of Provincial Parliament for Nepean Carleton, Lisa MacLeod, is trying to get Nick's Law, a private member's bill, passed in Queen's Park that will provide mandatory funding for education and awareness on opioids such as fentanyl. Nick's Law was named in recognition of 18-year-old Nick Cody, a Barhaven teen who died of an overdose to MDMA in 2013. McLeod decided to name the bill Nick's Law because the Codys were the first family to come into her office with a drug addiction.
The Codys were the first to come into my office in 2006 when their son Nick was dealing with a drug addiction. And that was the first time I realized that we did not have the treatment facilities or the detoxification facilities in our city.
Nick did not have an easy start to his life. His biological father died from a drug overdose when Nick was only 9 months old, and he moved in with his second cousin, Steve and Natalie Cody, when he was 7. Within 2 days, he was calling them Mom and Dad. Tearing up, his mother, Natalie Cody, remembered her late son as a mysterious child who was not afraid to do anything.
My daughter likes to say it was the first one down the hill, the snowboarding hill. They used to make them out of scaffolding in our backyard. And so he'd be the first to try those things. He'd walk in the room and he just was the light of the room, liked to make everybody laugh.
Nick's brother Darren remembers running around Barhaven with Nick, spending time with friends and having a lot of fun.
I remember a lot of times we would sneak out of the house, go out, meet our friends out on weekends, walk around Barhaven and just have a lot of fun. Something that we loved doing was going skiing. That was one of our main things during the winter.
Nick was not a teen to like drugs and also stood up for bullying. Natalie remembers multiple times when people would come by the house thanking Nick for helping them overcome bullying issues.
We've had people come to our house and just with the overwhelming need to share how they've helped their child, at some point at school, and he would, one was in a wheelchair and Nick would stick up for him.
In the spring, Steve and Natalie Cody reconnected with McLeod and wanted to find a way the government could do more to spread awareness on opioids and educate the youth on the dangers of taking drugs. They created Nick's Law, which would take 10% of the government's marketing budget and put it towards opioid awareness.
Nick's Law is a proposal that's been put forward that would basically take 10% of the provincial marketing budget, which is about $56 million right now, and use 10%, which is $5.6 million, to educate people and make people aware of opioid and fentanyl.
McLeod feels it's important because she says the government has put millions of dollars towards other projects in the past, yet no funding is going towards opioid education and awareness.
We spend $56 million a year on advertising, at least. $5.6 million went into the Fair Hydro Plan ads. $5.7 million went into the ORPP ads, and the ORPP ended up being scrapped.
Currently, the bill has went through 2 of the 4 stages it needs to go through in order to be passed. The next step is committee.
I don't think you'd be surprised. So, that's where you can't just sit back and let things happen. You kind of have to do something about it. That's kind of what we do.
He'd feel proud of us and he'd be honored.
And last weekend was yet another wild weekend for weather here in Ottawa. Thousands of people across the city were without power again, many in the Stittsville and Canada areas. Parts of Orleans also got hit hard. Here in the West End we did see some heavy rain and winds, yet nothing serious. This video sent to us by Greg McEarthen shows us how the rain hit the airport. Well, that certainly was a lot of water and almost looked like a scene that you would see coming out of a hurricane. Well, now to update you onto a story we reported briefly in our last newscast. Last week we told you about a car collision that happened on the corner of Meadowlands and Merivale early morning over the Thanksgiving weekend. We have now learned that the driver of the vehicle fled the scene and police were out in the area with canine dogs afterwards, searching for the suspect. They searched the garbage area of the nearby Chesterton Towers where police were seen out with their guns and flashlights climbing over balconies after the dog thought he found something. After they cleared the scene, they then went over to the Movati Fitness Club. Now, police say they are still looking for the suspect and the investigation is still ongoing. We still don't have any details as to what happened to the driver of the tow truck. Well, that is it for this newscast. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Charlie Cenac. We'll see you back here at Ottawa This Week next week.